Hello everybody, my name is James and I set up the fantasy league that we're all in, and Troy asked me to do a little tutorial so we can all be on the same page and familiarize ourselves with the league and how to work all the stuff. So right now Troy's logged into Yahoo, so that's where you'd start, is the Yahoo homepage. And first what you'll do is click on sports, which will take you to this page here, and you'll see fantasy teams over to the left. And when you click on fantasy teams, you will see your fantasy football team over to the right. So the first thing I'm going to do is click on what's called Troy's team, and it will bring you to the page where your fantasy team is. Now, some of the first things to notice is that where it says QB all the way down to the W/R is your starting lineup. So you'll want to make sure that this is updated every week. The computer will not do that for you. And this position right here, you can have a running back or a wide receiver fill that position. Every other position is quarterback only, wide receiver, wide receiver, wide receiver only, running back only, tight end only, and here's what's called a flex spot, where you can play your best running back or wide receiver in this position. Other things to notice on this homepage, you'll see that some of these are highlighted orange. That means that there's new notes about that player. A lot of times if they're injured, there'll be something there. This one in particular is just talking about how Joe Flacco thinks Torrey Smith is going to be good, but we all know he won't. And you can exit out here. I usually read what's highlighted on every single one of my players just because I like to know what's going on. In particular, the people with injuries. So this one says Reggie Bush was limited in Lions practice. That's something that I would keep an eye on throughout the week. You can update these starting lineups all the way up until the start time of the game. Now you'll notice that there's a Thursday game every week in the NFL now. Le'Veon Bell, for example, is playing this Thursday. So Troy can move him all the way up until that game on Thursday. Once the game starts on Thursday, Le'Veon Bell's locked in. And that goes for players on the bench as well. If you have a player on the bench for a Thursday game, you have to get him into your starting lineup if you want him to play before that Thursday game. The injury is right here where it says probable, and then you have questionable for a player like Cecil Shorts. He didn't play last week, these are things that you want to keep an eye on. You want to make sure that your starting lineup are people that are actually going to play, and this will tell you if they're practicing or not. Practice is usually a good indication of if a player is going to play. A lot of coaches will put players on the injury report even if they're not necessarily injured, and the coach knows they're going to play all the time. Usually if they're practicing, they're going to play, and if they're not practicing, they probably won't play. So other things to look at here for managing your lineup, let's say you wanted to move Jay Cutler into the starting lineup, you can click on Jay Cutler. And if you scroll up here, you can click on the player that was there, and that will update that lineup. Now, Troy does not want Jay Cutler playing, so I'll go ahead and put Russell Wilson back in, but you can do this for all your players. Some of the things I like to do is click on projected stats. So this will show you how many points Yahoo thinks these players are going to get for that week. So as you can see, Russell Wilson has 19.46. Jay Cutler has 20.42. They think Jay Cutler will have a little bit of a better game than Russell Wilson, but Troy thinks otherwise.
He's a whiner.
Yep, he's a whiner. So that's pretty much how you manage your roster for who you have here as far as what's in your team. Then you'll have your kicker here. You can have as many kickers as you want. You can drop players, add other players. I would recommend only having one kicker. There's really no need for two. And you have your defense as well. Houston defense, and this will show you Houston defense. They're playing at 1:25 p.m., and that's Pacific time, at Oakland. And then you'll have Buffalo defense Sunday at 10 a.m. versus Miami. And you'll see that Houston is projected to get a few more points than Buffalo. But you can make those decisions. I don't always go with what Yahoo thinks is going to happen. Sometimes I like to use my own instincts, but it's still nice to have an idea of who's projected to do what. Now, as far as adding players and dropping players, let's say you have a couple players on bye week and the player is hurt, so you need a running back. What you'll do is you'll go up here to add a player. And this is something I like to do. I'll change the position to just what I'm looking for. So we'll do running back in this case, And let's say I need the running back for week 2. So I'll go down here to week 2, and then where it has in parentheses, projections. And what this will do is sort all the players out by what they're projected to score. And what I like to do also is click here just to make sure that it's being sorted from the people with the highest projections down to the lowest. If you're going to pick a player up, you probably want someone that's going to score some points. This is a good way to see who Yahoo thinks is going to score points that is a free agent. Now, I'm just going to run through this without necessarily messing with Troy's team. So let's say we wanted to add Terrence West. First, I would see what it says about him. It says Terrence West will get the starter running back week 2 against the Saints. Ben Tate is week to week with a sprained knee, and West rushed for 100 yards on 16 carries. So it looks like this guy produced last week. I need him this week. What I'm going to do is click this plus arrow right here. Now it says I can add Terrence West, but in order to add Terrence West, I'll need to drop a player because there's a limit on how many players you can have on your team. Now, me personally, if I were to go through with this acquisition, I'm a fan of only having one defense as well, so I'll probably drop Buffalo's defense. But you can drop anybody. Actually, Tyler Eifert is on the injured reserve. This guy means he is not going to play for the rest of the year. Let's see. Oh, he'll be eligible to return on week 10. If a player gets put on the IR, they have to miss a certain amount of time. So this would be a prime candidate for someone to drop. Do you want me to just do this for you?
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's no point in having Tyler Eifert.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what we're going to do is we're going to go through with the entire transaction. And what you'll see here is that you're adding Terrence West. The plus means you're getting Terrence West. The minus means that you're dropping Tyler Eifert. And then to confirm it, you want to click on Add Terrence West, drop Tyler Eifert. And what you'll see here is that Terrence West is on the roster, Tyler Eifert is not. And then if you wanted to play Terrence West, you click on him. You have 3 different spots you can put him. You choose who you want him in for, and you're done from there. You can drop players straight up, but I wouldn't recommend it. I always do the add a player first, and then it will force you to drop somebody. I like to have a full roster at all times. Now, if you want to trade people, you can go to Create a Trade, and you choose the team you want to trade with. So let's say we want to make a trade with DeMarco Polo, which is my team name. You choose the players that you want to trade. Let's say he wants my whole team. Or his kicker. So right here is Troy's team. You choose who you want to give up and who you want to receive from the other team. And you'll go down here and you can go straight to continue. Or what Yahoo does is that they'll give you an evaluate the trade. So what you can see here is that Troy wants to trade Phil Dawson and he wants to get all of these players from me. And what it will do is it will show you over the course of a year, Troy's projections would go up 36 points, and my projections would go down 408. So this is an unrealistic trade, but it will give you an idea of if the trade's fair or not. Like I said, I don't focus too much on projections, so if your projections increase 36 points, like really week to week, it could be as little as 1.32 points that week. Or it could be as many as 18 points that it bumps up. But this will kind of give you an idea of each week, how does it help you, or each week, how does it hurt you. And if you like a player, sometimes you'll take the less points. Like I've done that pretty frequently where I'll take the lower points just because I don't necessarily always agree with what Yahoo's projections are. And then from here, what you would do is go to Send Trade Proposal. Nope, this is not going to let me because you'll have to, here. So that's not going to let you because it would put him over the roster spot. He would have to drop a bunch of players in order to continue with that trade. So let's do this again just so I can show you what that would look like. So let's say Troy wanted 3 players and he wanted to give me 2 players, which is a little more realistic. It doesn't have to be 3 for 3. You click continue here and Yahoo will tell you players to drop. So in order to do this trade, because Troy's receiving 3 players, and he's giving up 2, he's going to have to drop a player. So he would have to choose a player to drop and say continue. And now you can still evaluate the trade or send a trade proposal over. And now we have a pending trade proposal for those players. And what you can do, let's say you send the trade proposal over, you second guess yourself, you can click on that trade proposal, cancel the trade, and it's like it never happened. Now, what you'll do here, this is something else I always do every week, is I'll look at who I'm playing and what they're projected to do. So right now, Troy's actually going to play me in week 2. It looks like it's pretty even. It's less than a point difference on what Yahoo projects, but then it can give you an idea of what you're going up against, who to root against, and who to root for. So you Broncos fans, when you play me, just know that Monte Ball is on my team. You can't have him. That about covers it. When you go on League, you'll see who everyone is playing. It will have your rankings right here of who's in first place, who's in last. It will start by wins and losses. So 5 people will be 1-0 after this week. 5 people will be 0-1. The difference between first and fifth will be how many points you scored that week. That'll be your first tiebreaker. At the end of the year, week 14 is when the playoffs start. The top 6 teams will make the playoffs.
Can we look and see who's playing tomorrow night so we know for sure that I'll call them to make sure that they've got their lineup.
Let's do this. Well, he's got a kicker going, which doesn't make much of a difference. He'll be okay. You will want to look at Cam Newton, though. He didn't play last week, and he might not play this week.
Sucks.
This team's probably good the way it is.
So you can't. It's not a real quick way to go through it.
No, to see who's got. Yeah, I would have to go team by team.
All right. Well, we'll send this out tonight or in the morning.
Yeah, sure. That should give them a good idea.
So anybody that has, any of your teams playing Thursday night, otherwise you've got till make sure your players are set.
And if you guys have questions, you can always message. You can put a message here. It looks like we've already been familiar with it. You can post a new topic, and I'll check it out. I'll be happy to help you guys out in any way I can. Should about cover it, though.
Awesome. Thanks for doing that, and have a good season.
Yep.